Let me double check. Good. Good morning, folks. It's 10:13 a.m. on the 26th day, 12th month, 2022. Looking here at a big beaming event going on here that's going to be manipulating this river of moisture down here off the coast of Australia here. It was a rather large blast. Rather large blast. See, it comes all the way across here in a straight line. Yeah. Look at this hook move here that I'm pretty sure X-Men did, because it's pointing right at it. Right here. Okay. Now I'm going to go back a couple steps here, see if I can get it. You're going to see beam pier out here. Right, it's right in between the line of a beam. The edges of the beam are here and here. It's actually right in the edge of X-Smith, and something else out here has emitted a beam through the center of the EMF corridor. See if we can get this where. See it popping up through here, and this is going to influence the weather through here big time, big time. It's going to shock a lot of that moisture up into this band here. That can be moved down about a week from now. Yeah, weather manipulation takes time. You have to move these rivers gently. Otherwise, you can cause a big disaster. If you hit a beam here too hard, you could cause a 9-point quake at where the path of these beams are. And we have had quakes hitting off through here and here. Anyway, even to the left and right of Bali, and I'm very worried about them. Got a lot of quakes through here where this beam went. Right through this path here. See it come right through the trench, which is going to increase the earthquake risk for New Zealand. And that entire, the Fiji Mount, I guess is what they call that. It comes way out there. Looks like a pork chop. It does. There's no other way to describe it. The electromagnetic frequency that's being used today is easy to describe. It's wrong, man. See it blasting you? Right here. See him blasting this storm here, stripping its moisture off. Pow! Each one of them shock waves that goes through there is going to move some of its moisture back up. If it comes from this direction, it'll move it down. If the pop comes from that direction, and he popped it up. So they're pepping up some moisture there, so you expect some pop-up storms, and that's quite a beam. It's not a glitch. It's a beam. See the pulsations here? Boom, boom, boom. So I suspect you have a ship. So I'm going to move on. The sat viewer is nothing short of a crime scene. Yeah, they're booming and pluming all along the corridor of the heavy rains here. And where this is coming in now, this shock wave there that came in, see that line? When it interacts with that, it's going to blow these into some really dangerous storms. It may just be raining heavy now, but that's going to trigger the lightning. So you can expect that. And a lot of boom, boom, plumes going off the coast of Port Hedland. Right, and are you beaming? Or when ain't you? Right? The beams shut off here. The beams are on all through this corridor here. We did see that hook turn on the Mimic. Right? Show them right over here. The corridor to bring stuff in is in two spots. Here and here. And they put a bit of a blast between these two stations. Right? See the square? And that's being manipulated mostly by this one. I say mostly. There's a lot of manipulation going on out there. See that beam cutting through straight? It's coming from up here. What a shame. This is the best image you could get from a country that takes funding, a company, the Bureau of Morons here. They take money to show you radar. Just throw Legos on the floor and make more sense of them. See the beam pulsing out here? Bzz. Bzz. Yeah, weather manipulation, creating two corridors of heated flow so you can keep these storms separate. You have to. If they merge together, the energy might die out too soon, and you have to bring electricity in different. This'll be like a wire, right? So when they tendril that down, even if it was a little separate there, the electricity will just suddenly spring that up. So when these tendrils connect, this comes into here, the lightning show is going to begin. It'll be a line. And that won't last long, maybe about a half a day. It'll roll through here when that occurs. And I've seen the moves before. It's a pulse. Can you get more obvious of a curve of moisture that's been turned? Now that turn there is a La Nina turn. This turn here is the opposite. It brings it from this direction. So that's Tal and May. They're setting you up again here for another big bathing. when I see that. Some of this is going to aim up, but with this pulse here has cut it. Fiji has actually cut the river right there. Just noticing this. See if we can get a bigger, a little bigger on that. They're beaming out here. And he's cutting a band of moisture, so since that's that more south, and shocking more into the this corridor here where there's lots of small islands and a big one, so they can make very predictable flows and send them out in tendrils. You know, use the actual winds between the islands to cut the cloud formations. You see part of a pulse here. Whammo. And when that hits that, it drags, right? Eddies form. Tendrils stretch out, so that'll stretch into that, and part of that'll go north into this. So with that island forming a bit of a block, I'm curious what EMF move's going to occur next, so to determine where the rest of that's going to go. But most of this is slated for Queensland and Northern Territories here, and it looks like about 3 weeks worth of rain's coming. How I determined that was going to yeah, I've got you guys ready to roll today. By coming over here, right, I can look at the pressures, right? When I come over to the last here, you got a block. This is a block. So this here is free to rain on the coast. Any kind of bubble up that occurs here is weird, here and here. So you can expect the high is going to have to trap one of these to move the other along. Otherwise, this is a very long, sustained raining event, and that could potentially just sit there and act like a gear. In other words, it will just rotate stuff in. So everything down here comes in with that. Everything in this one here is coming in like that. That one here is taking stuff from this direction here and in and up. This one here is taking stuff from this direction and in, but it's going to ride a pressure line that's about down here on the 18s. Yeah, see that? So its stuff can come in, including its colder air. It looks like this setup here, you're going to be hot. When I see this here, it's all tropics. Yeah, so you're going to see some heat through here over the next 3 weeks. It has to happen. The setup is there. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot on the 4th, that's for sure. And they've wiped your weekends. Here's your New Year's Day. Rains all along the coast. New Year's Eve, rains all along the coast. Heavy, heavy, heavy for your travel. So you can make your plans and stick with them and be careful out there. The storms are raging over the Western Australia area up here is going to go unabated the entire time. Every day, it has not stopped. Every day, something big, right? The nighttime cool down, the daytime whammo. Well, you get a little bit of a lull there. Let the streams that are flooded here head this way, head toward Broome, and then you get them, right? Swell the streams and hit it. Yeah, and your totals in this area are nothing short of catastrophic. The next 24 hours up in this area here ain't no cakewalk. Not at all. I'm just going to run and let you see. Cairns, big lightning show. Well, you'll get some dramatic sunset shots looking this direction here. Like from about here. It's because it gets flat. Mount Isa, your radar has fueled your demise this entire time, and it's not going to stop. The whole time. Very, very heavy. As we proceed through the week, the travel corridor on the 27th on down as you go to get your New Year's stuff done is you have to be very careful along here and through these mountains. There's lots of slips and things going on that happen very suddenly, let's say. Big gust of wind and moving tops of trees will definitely agitate the soil underneath with the roots, and things can come down. And a 14 line right over the top of you. You're welcome to volatility. You're 1 km away from a storm at all time. Down here, you should have gotten that line. And this is going to come through about 30 hours from now, 24 hours from now. Depends how fast they move it around the corner. But I'm saying tomorrow, day and a half. About a day and a half. You're going to have a line come through here. So you'll be expecting it. Yeah, I'll move you a little bit in there, Tazzy, so you can see what you're about to get in 2 days for now. Here's your 48 hours. Whammo, have it. That's going to be a dangerous saw. Especially right around here where my middle finger is, as it drags the land and this thing tends to flow, starts to come through. The bubble ups here, this is going to be an odd one. There. When it gets to that position here, the electrics in the atmosphere from here that have been dying to connect with the ones over here are going to tendril. And when that electrical tendril occurs through here, this will be spinning sideways in the air. A lot of this, and individual cells like a big long line like that are going to be tornadic. They're going to be hail-acious, right? Hail-acious, full of hail, and that type of weather phenomenon, and downbursts. The ones where suddenly a wham, you get a burst of something from punching the top of a cloud with a chem bomb, and down comes the rain and wind all at once. Wham! Halls Creek, they're bombing it up now for your nighttime fireworks show. And here's the fireworks being deployed. Right here to your left, right here. Well, it'll be my right. To the east, bombs. Right, see them right here? See the square, see the formation? If you can't see it, well, fucking rub the dust out your eyes. And look again. Clean, yep, see that bomb? Look at the hook on it. Coming out. Reaching toward the other one. Because it's being propelled. It's moving. Wrong direction of the wind flow. Fueling the demise of the poor folks that live in this area of the world. This is in the sights. They got a corridor of EMF down here, right? But it's straight up. Boom. You just drop a Mars bar on you. I don't think there's a candy canes being made, that's for sure. Rabbit Flat, yeah, you got a big line over here. Look at the bomb. Boom, 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 boom! With the candy cane hook on it. Bombs going off over here in this corridor that's slated to get terrible, terrible rains. On and off over the next 3 weeks. I see no end in the foreseeable future, the way the pressures are. Geoengineering is going to decide when that happens. Look at the EMF outflow in here that's caused the plasma to look different down below deck. Once it gets that widened out, it's harder to see the plumes. You have to go here. It's going to take a minute to load. Boom, 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 plum, 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 plum. Yeah, your totals, while that's doing its bit, are very, very high. On the tens. Some of these spots are showing over a meter. I'm not going to go hunting for it. It's just looking for a wind up. I'm just telling you. Some of these places are going to see over a meter. Now, you just seen it when I went by. There's a lot of water out here to be had. That was a 1200, 5, half a meter coming. 5-day totals through Fitzroy Crescent corridor out here, and that tendril they was spraying like bugs. Scheduled to be very high. Icon on the toes. Just total flooding around the Tennant Creek area through this corridor here. There's going to be nowhere to travel. They've took out this highway's gone. I've already seen pictures. The water that rushed across it is still going on, and the road on some sides is gone, and it's like a waterfall. Fucking horrible. The Daly River, the size of the cracks that I'm seeing that are now well into places they ain't used to be in. So don't be doing stupid out there saying, hey, look what I can do in the water. Crack's going to say, look what I've always been able to do in the water. What eye? You're going to have some water in what eye? Is that one eye there? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it says the inundation is not going to stop. And it's bad. Very, very bad. And there's some really bad cells out there today. So I look at the 3-day totals that's between here and here. Is this bad? And don't count on that staying just there though, in this fell and all that down here. Now these are your 3-day totals. You know, over 10 centimeters isn't just a little bit for a large stretch of area. There's a lot of water out here to be had. And you're having it. They're going to get 4 feet of water out west through this event. 4.5, 5. I've never ever in my life see a whole lake just get dropped from the sky in a month on top of one country in my life. You expect to rain like that during the monsoons in India. I don't expect this in the middle of the desert of Australia. This is geoengineering. Saying, hi, I want all this for myself. You go bright pink washing now. That was scary. When you zoom in, it really gives you some totals. Yeah, as you closer you get into a place, the more accurate you're getting. When you got a meter of water sitting out there. Now, as I zoom out, watch the number. Sometimes it goes down. And you got the band of that sitting here. You got a band of that sitting here getting worked through these islands now. These are getting ready to be worked down. And then all those will be added up into here. Some will trickle through here. Because if they brought all that at once, they might lose their property. This is bad for Brum. Brum. You need to change your name to Squeegee. We need a Henrietta and a Henry that day. Pneumatic. My God. The wicked glitch has cursed Broome. And these are your 10-day totals. We ain't even into the 2 weeks. I think over 3 weeks, this corridor here is going to put a toe up there in the very first digit. Yeah, that's what I think over the month. In 3 weeks you're going to get. Because the pressure says you're going to get it. That's what's there. Well, that news has been delivered. Down south, not as bad, right? But it's still saggy. It's still breeding molds. You still got difficulties when you got this much rain up in these mountain regions. It's not a cakewalk. It's almost a pleasure to see near 5 centimeters after what I just saw. That's almost a pleasure to see, but it's not, because that means the rains are going to continue as they move stuff around the corner and as they begin to soak out in this area here. And you ain't getting out after this period here. Expect your numbers to increase. Right on the 14 and 15 days, you're going to be high. This will be here. So, but you know the move. Swell the streams. And then they have a swell flood. The North Star. Isn't that the pimple you get on your nose when you have to go do something? The North Star. Anyways, I digress. So your corridor here is getting it again, Maury, in the trough. So you will prepare for these rains. Why? Because you can't fear what's not here, but you could prepare for what's not here. Manda Babera, they came by one banana. Okay, the 1-ton banana. Now, this should have loaded enough to get some data out of it. And to see here, folks, keep walking. Now, what I'm looking for is these little tickle bombs that are saying it's getting colder. These light blues, the dark blues, this and this color appearing suddenly in an area that's different. Pow! Right? Like a catalyst exploding, like all up here, like all up there. That type thing is what I'm looking for. And yeah, well, how many... Sheesh, that's not round. But the center of it is. What's going on? Could it possibly be geoengineering? It absolutely is. See? The sudden cold. The deployments. This is a nasty cell. I'm just going backwards in time. They just bombed the edge of that one and gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bombs in a straight and gone. And catalyzed. So to keep that going, they got to keep bombing it. And they bomb that edge if they want it there. And they bomb that edge if they want it there. And they've been bombing the hell out of this one on Mount Isa. This is nothing but a chem shell. Look at the bombs here. I'll bring it to the center. Take it up a little notch. Avon calling. As you're calling Kurt, a geoengineer, he's calling. Boom, 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 boom. Right in the middle. Look at the temperature differences. See the bombs? You got a circle and two sudden cold nucleation points. Like dry ice or something that when it catalyzes, it's cold. 3 of them going off there. And good. You're going to take that graphic down too. Hey, where's David Tennant in the TARDIS when you need him? Something came along the line here. Boom, 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 that. Undeniable geoengineering. You got a flow like that and a flow like that. The beam does that. So let's see if we can pick it back up on a different one. I don't like this feed too much. This should just run. So you got to look into things on different wavelengths to see what's going on. And temperature is a big tell. Temperature differences, they always say fuels weather. So if I can make it warm like the tropics down here and cold as fuck up here, I could recreate the conditions needed to make a tropical cyclone over land or a hurricane. Or as I like to call them, Lando-canes. I don't like to call them that, but that's just what they are. It's the same dynamics being created over land. And you're going to have a rough night here of the continuous rains. My God, you poor folks. Heavy chem streaming over you guys here, too. You absolutely getting poisoned. Absolutely poisoned. All these bombs going off. I basically just showed you your forecast. So if that's what you was waiting around for, you got it. Boom, boom, ba boom, 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 ba boom, 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 boom. Chem bomb here, chem bomb there, chem bombs in your underwear, leaving a stain in your washing line. They're chemming you all the time. Ham bone in this fail, they're chemming you. You got a flood waters coming to you. Look at this. This is all a chem bomb storm being made over the top of this area today, and they're not going to have a very happy time. Happy Boxing Day. Here's a right crust from our oppressors on Boxing Day. Well, they're supposed to be giving us something gifty, and they're gifting you sickness mix. Have a cold, breathe it asthmatically, miasma, malaises, various malaise. That's not a haze in the sky, that's a malaise in the sky. My God, you poor folks, you get smashed. Absolutely smashed. Shall we do the flick? Wham! Goes down the coast. Nothing to see here, folks. Don't look up in the sky. You might see the chem bombs. Don't look up. Because things might look up if you look up. You'll have to see what they not want you to see. Not see skies. They don't want you to see things. Obviously, they don't want you to see things. When you throw a bunch of Legos down and say, hey, look, that's a cloud. They don't want you to see something. Now, when they blur things out on imagery or say a satellite ain't available to be used, and they say, well, that's just a glitch, and I show you clouds form from it. Well, those predicted glitches, sure do help me understand the weather. You got a corridors of EMF. That's a radar station. That's a radar station. It's a radar station. You got a corridor of radar stations down south down here on. Right through here. I show you the hell out of those. Those big time bust I had on them this morning. That's why I had that screen up. That one's on. Because the color's on, Microwaves are just, they're really healthy at helping cancerous things grow. But they're not very healthy for you. Look at right in the middle of the radar. We got a blaster going and a storm right in the middle. Hi, would you like that? And whammo. When it came in, it died. A bomb storm right between the corridor of those two. That's going to work. Keep them separate. Keep that line apart. Because that line joined too soon, you'll have a hell of a storm, and too much energy will leave this line all at once that is not wanted. And this is all on its own in a wedge. The old wedgie storm. You can pick your ass on that one instead of scratching your head. Some really bad storms south of Mansfield here, and I've been watching them for a few hours north of Melbourne. Because Melbourne pinned the storm there. And that blast arrow pinned that a bit like that. See how it's curving? And they're walking it, and it dies. It's a bad cell right here. Let's have a quick look. Stick you on the 1 hour. Supercells from Chem-Bomb Smalls. Hey, just over these lakes here, the lightning's popping up over Jameson and Rubicon. Sawmill Settlement. It's a cool name. I never saw the mill in Sawmill, but I think you're about to see a river run through it over here. Where all this converges is bad. Hang on a minute. You got flash flood area right here. If you're camping down around here, man, watch yourself. If you're down around here right now, watch yourself. Yeah, you know any people? Warning, it's very steep going down into this creek here. So any little stuff along here is going to run. Oh my, you poor folks. It's hard understanding the majesty of weather and understanding the illogical, psychopathic minds of our ruling class oppressors that fix your elections till only they get in and fix your life so only they're getting their profits protected at the expense of you doing it for the big all. While they got trillions and trillions of dollars at their disposal between each other. Billions and billions personally in their banks. One guy Bezos alone could give everybody on the planet $1 million even, and not miss it. He could give us all $1 billion and we'd not miss it. Really, if you got 100 billion or something, you could give everybody 7.6 of them away and not miss it. Well, God forbid we be able to go in the same country club and have our ideas told. You know, when we would hear us saying, they're useless eaters, they're not of any use. As I see a line of storm here on New Year's Eve that's going to impact Australia in a way that is not kind. How dare they? I'd like to take these politicians that agree to this stuff and that lie to us about it and shove their head up a cow's ass and let it fart. Then kindly pull them out and say, no, that was global warming that did that. Stick your head back up until they figure out that a fart is a fart. If the dinosaurs' farts didn't warm the globe, none are gonna do it. You think the Brontosaurus over there was a quiet releaser? Sheesh, I bet that was a... It'd perk your hair. Hey, Happy New Year's. That's nice to see. Nothings. Yeah, you guys are fucked. You go down here every weekend, you know. They wanted to protest over here at the government house. Hashtag exposed to 28. Because, you know, perverts die. Pervert justice too often. If they got the gavel in their hand that says the guilty, not guilty, and your buddy sitting in front of them, how you think that's going to go? You know what their buddy is? It's the dollar. It's the bank account number. It's to have more than another person rather than to have enough. And as I'm looking at the trough that day, some devastating conditions in that farming belt there. So be prepared. Be prepared, be prepared. That's going to be a dangerous line too. Plus that to mostly squeeze south. They're getting old. They're getting old. Just sitting there. Lando Kane. So we'll be watching for the moves that were similar to these going on over here that day. I gotta say one thing bad. Geoengineering. It's a fucked up thing to suggest to do. By some fucked up thinkers who think it's okay to in advance tell me they're gonna flood you out, but not tell you. I can figure this out. I can see what's going on. And it's bad. Very, very bad. So with that said, Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you made it. Suck it up, buttercups, if you didn't. There's your 5s. Here's your 10s. And God have mercy on us all. With people that say that don't know what's best for us can do this. Where will they stop? Big love. Peace.